Hey everyone, this is Captain Paul Kim with Fish P&W Guide Service here in Seattle, Washington. Hey, this is a great time of year to maybe think about downrigger maintenance, and so I thought I'd do a little video because one of the great upgrades that you can do for your Scotty 1106 or 2106 high-speed downrigger is to upgrade the factory spool. And the factory spool is two pieces here, and so they limit the amount of cable that you can put on these spools to 300 from the factory. And so I've had instances of these spools failing under pressure. Sometimes when I'm using braid, when I've got that wound out really tight, I'm using 18-pound balls or 15-pound balls on here. It'll actually cause these two spools to split, warp, and eventually crack and fail. And so I don't like to go offshore when I have only one set of downrigger line out there, because that could make or break the trip, especially when I'm fishing deep for kings when they're running sometimes 350 to 450 feet of water. Think about the scope on your line too, because you have a lot of blowback potentially. So in a lot of applications in our fishery, we're using what's called a one-piece anodized spool. These are made by our friend Trevor Jackson. They are produced with an aircraft grade aluminum CNC cut and built to very high tolerances, anodized in lots of different colors. And so the benefit to these is that I can spool up between 800 to 900 feet of 200-pound hollow core Jerry Brown or diamond braid onto these one-piece spools. They take an extremely amount of pressure, and they will hold up. So if I ever lose some of that downrigger braid when I'm fishing deep, no problem. I still got plenty to work with here. And so these are really a game changer when you're fishing deep, especially out on the banks when those kings are not hitting in the normal 150 to 200 feet of water. So I'm going to show you how to swap these out. And so why don't you come on over here. So this is here. You can do these either on 1106 or a 2106 downrigger, but I'm just going to show you on this 1106. Open up the cover, remove the emergency crank handle. There is a 9/16 or 14 millimeter nut that you can remove. I've also removed the nylock nut that tightens down to the counter assembly on this 1106. Go ahead and pull that counter off. The wear plate comes off next. Go ahead and take off your belt. A series of 4 bolts. Undo those. You can undo them here, or you can undo them. Actually, it's probably easier just to go ahead and pull this spool at this point. So this will come off in one piece like this, okay? And let's see. So once I undo all of these, this top cog will come off. You see how that's comes off? I'll want to recycle or reuse these bolts. Okay, and we're going to keep this, we're going to use this. And you can see the factory spool has these recessed areas where these nuts will fit into. And you'll see the wear plate here. Good idea to kind of go ahead and do your maintenance on this. I like to take a little bit of steel wool, scuff this up, maybe flip over my brake pads and use a little Scotch-Brite to kind of tune those up as well. Okay, we're not going to need to use these nuts anymore because the new spools are already threaded all the way through, so it's kind of nice. They're threaded all the way throughout. Okay, so we've got that apart. We've got the new spool, replacement spool on. I'm going to go ahead and recycle that wear plate, okay, on there. Get that fitted onto the spool, or the housing rather. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put that gear cog right on. Line up the holes, okay. Go ahead and take my bolts, tighten those in. Okay, so yeah, so I got this in. Okay, got my wear plate. I'm gonna put that back in. My counter, put that in as so. Get your 9/16 nylock, tighten that down. So I won't put that on just now. I'll put on the brake nut. Get your belt back on. And so when you tighten this nylock down, you want enough pressure here so that you can test it, I think, with 20 pounds. You can use 20-pound scale or 20-pound downrigger ball. You don't want it to slide with about 20 pounds, but I like to tighten it up a little bit more. You want that just enough pressure where you're releasing that brake handle and you're getting a drop of the downrigger. Okay. One thing I like to also do is I also like to add, and you can see over here on this 2106, I like to add a little Phillips self-tapping wood, stainless steel wood screw with the little washer here, because if you lose this handle, you'll lose the counter and you'll lose the ability to do that. So I like to add that on there as well. You can see on this 2106, I've already upgraded this spool here. You can see that. And you can see the tuna cord. I use that as a sure stop. I use about 8 feet of 300-pound tuna cord on that. And yeah, so give that a try. I think it's going to be a real game changer for you, especially if you're fishing deep. Those big kings seem to like running deep. We found them in the banks with spot prawns. They're feeding on spot prawns or octopus or squid or large pilchards. So if you're really targeting trophy fish, you want to use these one-piece anodized spools. They're going to make a real difference in your fishing, and hopefully it brings you some success this year. Fish on.